Hello everybody. Welcome. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. First order of business. I need you guys to comment below that you are here, that you are present, so I know that you are all present and accounted for. Even if you're watching on replay, even if you're not watching live, just make sure you comment, that you like, this whole YouTube ritual, because YouTube censors independent media. And speaking of censorship, I have a huge announcement. So my network, right? My show has been banned by the US government. Yes, you think I'm joking. Oh, we're going to get into it in a second. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. You gotta laugh, otherwise you're gonna cry. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I'm wearing a very fitting T-shirt, right? You can see the U.S. flag with a bunch of skulls instead of stars, and it's dropping. Oh, look, bombs! How unsurprising. Okay, so let's get into it, man. Let's get right into business. I want to break the situation down for you because this is some of the most preposterous shit that has happened in a long time, and that's fucking saying something, given all the crap that the U.S. does. So, first of all, we got a huge tip here from Nishama. It says, in honor of our FBI guest. I don't know who the FBI guest is, but thank you for the huge tip. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Rob, as well, for the huge tip. By the way, we got 220 people watching already, but we only got 130 likes. You see what I'm talking about? That doesn't add up. What kind of math is this? This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. F. I need those numbers to be equal, okay? You got to balance the equation, like chemistry. So go go ahead, man. So let's start. Let me break this down for you. See, I'm really angry. Honestly, I'm really angry. Like, I'm laughing and joking, but I'm fuming. I'm fuming about this. Okay. So you guys know I started out my career in journalism right here on this YouTube channel, right? I've been very blessed, thank God, alhamdulillah, I've been very blessed to be successful. And then as I grew and got bigger, within the first year, within a few months, I got offered a television program on Press TV, right? So I started in fall of 2020. And today, the US government has seized Press TV's website. Again, let me explain this for you. I'm not saying they've blocked Press TV in America. No, they've stolen the entire website. I'm not in America. I've never been to America. I don't work in America. Press TV is not in America. Press TV is an Iranian website. It's an Iranian network, right? It's under the umbrella of IRIB, right? So the Iranian, so this is the Iranian state broadcaster, right? The American government has stolen an Iranian news website that is not in America. They have stolen my work and the work of my colleagues. They've deleted it. I'm not joking. There are people who think that, oh, it's a hack. No, it's not a hack. This has been confirmed. I know personally from Press TV. I talked with them. It's been confirmed in the mainstream media. We'll look at it now in a second. I'll show you the articles. So if you go, look, I want to show you right now. If you go and type presstv.com, it's gone. And there's a notice. They've left a note like a bunch of fucking pirates. Look at this. So let me switch over here, okay? This is what it says. This website has been seized. Like pirates. Like goddamn pirates. Just like they seize Venezuela's gold. Just like they seize Iran's oil. Just like they seize Syria's oil. They have seized this website. They say the domain presstv.com has been seized by the United States government in accordance with a seizure warrant issued pursuant to... So this is a United States code. These are the laws, right, in question. I'm going to show them to you in a second. So... as part of a law enforcement action by the Bureau of Industry and Security Office, Office of Export Enforcement, and Federal Bureau of Investigation. So the FBI even, right? Like, this is hilarious, honestly. These people, they have no shame. They're so criminal. They're so gangster. They're so disgustingly violent, right, with their imperialism. They have no shame. And then they fucking dare talk about, oh, journalists are oppressed in Iran and journalists are oppressed in China. Who's prosecuting Assange? Who just deleted my fucking show, you assholes? The United fucking States did that. And you have the nerve to talk about democracy? You don't know the first goddamn thing about democracy, and that's all my show is about, and that's why they deleted it. That's why they deleted the work of my colleagues. They deleted Press TV's website. They stole it like pirates because we criticized the United States for being imperialist scum like this, precisely for this. Thank you for proving our point. So look at this. You want to look at the laws? Let's look at the laws, right, that they've cited here. Okay, so they're saying United States code, they're mentioning paragraphs 981, 982. Okay, so this is the civil forfeiture code, and then we also have the criminal forfeiture. And if you look through the law, there's a lot of things about, you know, traffic. There are things about like traffic violations, whatever. I'm gonna point you to what I think is what we all know is the reason, right? That they're going to cite, even though it's completely nonsense and not true. If you look at section G, it says that they can seize all assets, foreign or domestic, of any individual, entity, or organization engaged in planning or perpetrating any federal crime of terrorism, right? You just know that they're gonna say that. You just know this. You know that they're gonna do this. Now look at the other code. Do you see what they mentioned here? So United States Code 1701 to 1705. Do you know what that is? You're not going to believe this. Unusual and extraordinary threat. Declaration of national emergency. Exercise of presidential authorities. So they're saying that Press TV, which includes my television program, poses an unusual or extraordinary threat. Motherfucker, if that ain't a badge of honor. If that ain't a badge of honor, I'm gonna wear it right here. Right here. Really, thank you for proving my point about everything I say about the United States. Thank you for proving my point about imperialism. Thank you for showing your true colors. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's not just Press TV, by the way. Do you know how many websites they've shut down? Do you know how many websites they've shut down? So Claudio was kind enough to put together a collage. I had an idea of putting together a collage so that maybe visually this would speak to people. Look at this. So they've seized presstv.com. They've seized El Masira, which I think is, if I'm not mistaken, is so hold on a second. Let me explain this. Press TV is only English, okay? Al Alam, they do in Arabic. Al Furat as well. And many of these are Iranian, okay? Pal Today, this is Palestinian over here. And Al Masira, if I'm not mistaken, is it's run by the Houthis. So, you know, in Yemen, you have the Houthi rebels, the Houthi government that is fighting against the Saudi-led genocide. So, I mean, just the gist of it, right? You look at these websites that they've taken down here, right? So Press TV, Al Furat, Al Alam, Al Masira, Palestine Today, KarbalaTV.net, Al Kawtha, Al Walla TV. What do these websites, what do these news outlets have in common? Just explain this to me, man. Right? What do these websites have in common? They're part of the axis of resistance. That's what they have in common. That's what they have in common. These websites, these news outlets are anti-imperialist. They're pro-Palestinian. So when they do news, they don't sugarcoat the conflict, as they say, the conflict in Palestine, and say that it's clashes. No. On Press TV, you can say the truth about what's happening in Palestine. It's an occupation. The Zionists, the Israelis, these European and otherwise colonial settlers are occupying Palestine. They are oppressing Palestinians. It's not a clash. It's not a conflict. It's an occupation. You can say that on these networks. You can say the truth, right? You can talk about the effect of U.S. sanctions. You can explain that U.S. sanctions are barbaric because that's the truth. It's siege warfare. You can talk about the criminality, the gangster criminal, the organized crime that these cartels like the United Kingdom, the United States, and the G7 undertake. You can do that here. That's what they have in common. These are outlets that are created by, they are run by the axis of resistance. You remember George Bush, he gave the speech calling Iran and Syria and anyone who doesn't bend the knee to the United States, of course, the axis of evil. That's what he called them, right? The axis of evil. And then this term was taken and it was, turned into a positive. It was called the axis of resistance. So now when we talk about the axis of resistance, we're talking about Iran. We're talking about Syria, we're talking about the Houthi rebels, the Houthi government in Yemen that is fighting the Saudi genocide. We're talking about the Hashd al-Sha'bi. We're talking about the Popular Mobilization Forces in Iraq and who helped liberate Iraq and Syria from the scum of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. We're talking about, we're talking about countries that stand up to U.S. imperialism: Venezuela, Cuba, Yemen. These countries, they don't bend the knee to the Americans, to the British, to Western hegemony. So that's why they're targeted, right? That's the real reason they took our stuff down, because they're scum. That's why they did this. And there's something else, by the way. If you look here, this is signed by Joe Biden on June 9th, right? Because Joe Biden is not fascism, right? Remember this? Do you remember how many times they told you this bullshit? Oh my God, you have to vote for Trump or else, you have to vote for Biden or else Trump is going to win and then fascism is going to win, right? They said democracy is on the ballot. Yes, I'm feeling the democracy right now. Thank you for deleting my TV show. I'm very grateful. I'm really feeling the freedom of press right now. Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you and your fucking Joe Biden. So he signed this on June 9th. Executive order on protecting American sensitive data from foreign adversaries. So he's expanding on something that Trump started with Huawei, with TikTok, trying to say, oh, the Chinese, they're stealing data, they're putting spyware, as if the Americans don't spy on half the planet, including their allies, on the whole planet, excuse me. So that's what this is about, right? This is another brick in the wall of Joe Biden being Joe Biden, right? They sold you this myth that, it's just fascist if Trump does it, right? But when Joe Biden, when a Democrat does it, that's totally fine. Like, it makes no difference that he's continuing to persecute Julian Assange. No, that's not fascism. Like trying to jail a journalist for 170 years who is not even in the United fucking States, who is not even from the United States, right? Going and deleting news networks that are not in the United States. When they talk about, they have the audacity to call Syria and Iran and any country that they don't like, they call them totalitarian. Dude, even in a totalitarian system, the suppression that they claim takes place happens inside the borders of that country. The United States doesn't even contain that inside its own country. It's going and making sure that I cannot even access my own show, and I don't even work in the United States, and I don't even live in the United States. If you live outside the United States, you cannot access the show. So the United States is spreading its policies to the globe. It's deciding for the rest of the planet what news they can access. I mean, this is beyond totalitarian. This is imperialism. This is scum. This is colonial scum, what they're doing. This is scum. This is scum behavior, okay? Can you imagine the outrage if Iran deleted MSNBC's website? Like, just think about that for a second. The fucking outrage. Can you imagine if deleted CNN's website? Can you imagine if PBS was taken offline? Just imagine for 1 second the fucking outrage. And this is not the first time they attack us, man. In fall of 2020, so I think just shortly after I got my show, the communique, Google services, they went and they banned, they completely banned Press TV from using its services, right? So, like, even Google Documents, everything. So not just YouTube and everything, all Google services banned. Why? Because they used sanctions as a reason, right? I saw it. And then before, in the past, they've done this in the past, right? Look here. Facebook banned Iran's their Facebook page, right? They banned it a few months ago. This is back in January, and it's not the first time. And they've done this many times to other people, right? So they've done this to Telesur, which is a Spanish language outlet. It's based in Venezuela, if I'm not mistaken. They've done this also to CGTN. So there's been an effort here, a concerted effort to go after outlets that are not based in the West, but which are still, they have big reach, which are also based in English. So you have Press TV, CGTN, Telesur. They've all been targeted before. That's my point here, right? This is something they've done before. But this is on another level now. This is really crossing the fucking line. And to me, if you ask me, frankly, even before banning the Facebook page, like, this is harassment. Every couple of months, they would take down the Facebook page for a few days, and then, oh yeah, we made a mistake. Dude, there's nothing we could do. The FBI agent just crawled into the office by accident. We're really sorry. They would ban the Facebook page or the Google stuff. So now they've removed the website. It is gone. I'm not joking, man. Do you people think I'm joking? Look at this, seriously. Look, I'm going to go on Google right now. Okay, I'm going to type Press TV. Okay? I'm going to click on here. What the fuck is that? Who are you people? Who are you pirates to do this? Who are you? Who gave you the right to do this? I mean, the hypocrisy is unbelievable, right? They want to come here and talk about freedom of the press, democracy, fair elections, human rights abuses. It doesn't mean shit. The United States is the biggest human rights abuser on the planet. They have no democracy. They have no fucking freedom of speech. They have the biggest state media apparatus that a fucking dictator could, in his wildest dreams, could think up. They come here and they remove outlets that are outside the United States, that are not based in the United States, whose journalists do not work in the United States. And then they have the gall to turn around and talk about democracy and freedom of speech and freedom of press. Look what they're doing to Julian Assange, man. Like, you have to understand, they're trying to extraterritorialize their shit. They're trying to extraterritorialize their nonsense, their absurd laws. I mean, I don't even know what to say, man. It's not, calling it hypocrisy, I feel like that's kind of an understatement. It's just too much at this point. I feel like it's too much. It's too much. The word hypocrisy is not enough. It doesn't encapsulate the rage that I feel right now. It really doesn't. So, if you go now and you look at, this has been reported now in a couple of websites. So RT has reported on the seizure. Even Times of Israel, I bet they're very happy now about this as well. Oh, sorry, this is about the Facebook page. They reported now also again on the website being removed. That's also on here somewhere. So there we go. See, pro-Hamas news website. This is really funny, man. So also over here. Oh, by the way, I was watching a video earlier on the IDF Twitter account. So, the Israelis, their occupation forces in Palestine, they have their own Twitter account, and it's just pure propaganda. And they're translating a speech from Hamas, from Hamas's leader. And, he said the word, he said resistance factions. And you look at the subtitles, and they translated it to militant factions. And I know this because I speak Arabic, so I can hear what he's saying and read what the subtitles say, and it's not the same word. Like, there's a big difference between the word resistance and militant. So they just lie all the time. They just twist things to fit their narrative. And here, if you look on Sputnik, they've also, I mean, it's everywhere, right? They've all covered this now. So I know that it's real. And if you go and you look at Reuters, they said that they've been taken down, and they said that there's going to be a statement soon. So, they said over here, a U.S. Justice Department spokesperson had no immediate comment. 2 U.S. government sources indicated that the Justice Department was preparing an announcement on this issue. Yeah, I can't wait to hear their announcement, man. I'm really excited for this, I'm really excited for their bullshit. Like as if that justifies what they just did. Oh, God. Their logic behind this, and I think this dates back to Obama, to 2012, around 2012. They decided that all .com websites are going to be under U.S. jurisdiction, right? So their logic is that, well, it doesn't matter that the website is not American or it's not in America. The URL is .com, therefore it's American, and we can take it down. They just hacked it and pirated it. C'est pas possible. They're so, oh my God. So someone, I posted about this on Twitter, right? What they just did, and someone commented this GIF of Biden saying, "You're seeing the soul of America now." Yes, I am. I definitely am. I concur, man. And it's multiple outlets, and I thought of this quote by Malcolm X about the media. It's so good, man. Really. This is the quote. This is the media, an irresponsible media. It will make the criminal look like he's the victim and make the victim look like he's the criminal. If you aren't careful, The media will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. And that's what's going to happen. You're gonna see maybe CNN or MSNBC cover this, and then they're going to convince you that it's okay to shit on foreign press. They're going to convince you that, oh yeah, because it's Iran, right? Like everyone over there is evil, right? Like, of course we can shit on them. Like that's what they're going to do. You already know this is coming. And they always frame it as if like, it's acceptable to do it to, global South outlets. It's acceptable to do it abroad. That's just security. It's a security issue. Right? Julian Assange, he's so dangerous. They have to put him in a maximum security prison. Press TV is, again, look what the law says over here. I love this. I really love this. Unusual and extraordinary threat. They use the national emergency law. Dude, they deleted my show using the national emergency law. I mean, if that isn't hilarious, I don't know what is. Look what pussies they are. Look what cowards. They have to use, like, this is meant for, like, fucking war or something, And they're so terrified of me sitting in my room or my colleagues doing their shows and talking about the crimes that the U.S. is committing. Shit, we gotta go shut them down. What cowards? They're such fucking pussies. This is so hilarious. It really is. They're really huge pussies. So here, it's also been reported in CNN, right? They say down here that the United States government has seized dozens of U.S. website domains connected to Iran, linked to what the U.S. says are disinformation efforts, a U.S. national security official told CNN. Oh, yeah, I love these anonymous national security officials, right? These anonymous intelligence officials who just, they make shit up on the fly, right? So anyone who tells the truth about the United States crimes or their allies' crimes, this is disinformation, apparently. Of course it's disinformation because it goes against what they want you to believe. So in their eyes, it's disinformation. It can't be true, right? Oh man, they're so pathetic. Over here, one of you commented on Twitter, in my opinion, Press TV is the main target here. And a couple of shows on Press TV have been a little too uncomfortable for the U.S. regime. The communique is definitely one of them. So right now, the way it is, there's a backup mirror of the website. So instead of presstv.com, you go to presstv.ir. Okay, so presstv.ir. And thank God my work is still up there. Although I was looking in the comments and people are saying they can't access it. It's timing out. Maybe it's because there's lots of traffic. Maybe they're jamming it. I don't know. You have to understand something, man. This is not like... I feel like even for me, I'm not digesting it fully because it's so absurd. I haven't fully digested it yet. It hasn't really hit me that they fucking did this. Like it's a joke or something, right? It has to be a joke. No, this is real. They just did this. So thankfully, presstv.ir works, right? This is the episode, the broadcast I did a few hours ago on the Iranian elections. It just dropped. I had Professor Marandi on. Great friend. He's really awesome, really well-spoken. He's been on all the networks, and he took the time to come on and do a really good interview. It'll be on here as well, the full extended version. So, and just as a side note, it's so nauseating watching, like, American or European commentators, talk about the Iranian elections. They don't know their fucking ass from their elbow. Be quiet. Like, just stop trying to pretend you understand foreign policy. It's really just stay in your lane, man. Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean or something, but they say things that are so factually incorrect, that are so bad, and you're just poisoning people with another version of mainstream media bullshit, right? Like, oh my God, look at what happened in Iran. It's such a disaster, and it's all Trump's fault. No. Why don't you just respect that people in Iran maybe have a different viewpoint than you? Maybe people in Iran want a different system than you. Why are you trying to impose your Western liberal fucking horseshit on everyone outside your borders? Mind your business. Deal with your own crap, right? And they do this with everyone, right? It's like this white colonial mentality that they have to go and like educate everyone who isn't white or in the West. Like, oh, they have such a bad system, right? It's so bad. Our model is better. It's so fucking arrogant. And you even see people on the so-called left, in American left, do this all the time. It's so commonplace. They don't even realize it. So anyway, that's just a side note. But, you know, thank God the material is still up there on presstv.ir. But this is scandalous. I don't accept this, that, you know, it doesn't make it any less okay, right? Just because there's a mirror, just because there's a backup, that doesn't mean it's okay. You know, the U.S. government, you know what they were doing with WikiLeaks? They were doing the same thing to WikiLeaks. They would jam the live streams. You know, they would interfere with the connection. They got PayPal and all these credit card companies to freeze their accounts. They also took down their website multiple times to the point that WikiLeaks was asking people to mirror the website and make copies of it. So, you know, like a Hydra, like you cut one head off and you got another one comes out, like so that it can't ever be really taken down. And that's actually part of how the cables got disseminated. But that's another story. So just my point here is that this is a common practice that the United States uses against people who are, you know, it considers a threat, a journalistic threat. So whether it's WikiLeaks or it's Press TV or CGTN, it doesn't matter. It's the same MO. And I got to laugh because, you know, basically, you know, we're banned now in both the United Kingdom and the United States, right? Who could have seen that coming, right? The United Kingdom banned Press TV a while ago, so they took it off the air because, you know, Press TV is on satellite. So they completely took it off the air. Ofcom is the regulator in the UK. They completely banned it. And now the US goes and just steals the fucking website like pirates, like disgusting pirates, because that's what they are. And so are the British. And, you know, it's funny. I think that if they are doing this, that means we're doing something right. So I am extremely pissed off. I'm fuming. I think they're extremely hypocritical. I never, ever want to hear a single fucking American or Westerner come to me and lecture me or Syrians or Iranians about freedom of press or journalism or fucking democracy. You don't even have that. We don't even have that in the West. Shut your fucking mouth, you hypocritical sack of shit, and deal with your own problems. Stop wagging your fucking finger at everyone else when we don't even have this in the UK. We don't even have this in the United States. You have no right to talk about other countries. Especially when you do this. Especially when you do this. This is outrageous. This is fucking outrageous. Imagine if Iran took down a PBS website or CNN or Reuters. Just imagine the fucking outrage. But it's okay to do that to Iran. It's okay to do that to Syria. Like, you know, they're not equal, right? They're like lesser people and just shit on them all the time. Fuck you. Fuck your colonial bullshit. So I find this extremely angering, but it's also you know, it's validation. Let's be clear. This is validation. This is proving that we are having an effect. This proves that our work is important. This proves that we mean something and the work we do means something. If you think they don't take this seriously, you are sorely mistaken. You are sorely mistaken. And when I'm talking about the British, I'm talking about the Americans, I'm talking about the Israelis. They take this extremely seriously, right? You had that video of that Zionist professor at Harvard saying like, oh yeah, in Israel, we have to serve in the army. You need to serve in the army of words. You need to go fight the ideological battle. Yeah, they really care about this. So, you know, that's where we confront them. We'll confront them on the, on the battlefield of journalism, of ideas, of words. That's my domain. And so when they do this, when they come and they delete Press TV's website, they seize it like pirates so that people all over the world, not just in America, all over the planet cannot access this information, this news, this truth. That means they're fucking scared. They are so terrified. They're so terrified of people understanding what the US does. So this is validation. I'm very pleased. I wear it like a badge of honor. Thank you. Thank you very much. You just proved our points, and you showed also that what we're doing is effective. Thank you. And again, this is not just an attack on journalists, on the foreign press. This is an attack on the axis of resistance. Who did they go after? What do these websites have in common that I just showed you here? This collage that we put together. What do these websites have in common? What do these news outlets, these broadcasters have in common? They are all Arabic and Muslim. They are all part of the axis of resistance. They all confront U.S. imperialism. They all confront Zionism. That is what they have in common. And they also confront Saudi Arabia. That is what they have in common. They are a threat They are a threat in the journalistic sense, right? They are a threat in the ideological sense to Western hegemony. That's why they took them down. This was an attack. So don't ever come here and talk to me about freedom of press. Don't ever do that. Don't embarrass yourself. I will school you. Don't embarrass yourself. I'm not tolerating this bullshit. All right? I'm not tolerating this. These scumbags, they have the fucking nerve to talk about interference. They have the goddamn nerve to talk about free press and totalitarianism and authoritarianism. Go and you really need to just shut the fuck up and sit back and look around you first. You really need to digest what your own countries are doing before you open your goddamn mouth. You really need to do that. So, the United Kingdom has banned Press TV. So, like my work is banned in my own country. Now it's banned in the United States. I mean, this really just... It's okay. Al-Muqawamah, Tahya al-Muqawamah, long live the resistance. We continue our work. This just pumps me up even more. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And I'm still laughing at this, like the national emergency law. God, this is just ridiculous. I swear to God. You know that if Iran or Syria or whatever did this, they would be fuming, right? You remember when there was this thing with China and CGTN and BBC banning each other? You saw what happened. But now they're not going to say anything, of course. So anyway, like I said, you can find all my work here on YouTube, right? On Rockfin. So youtube.com/RichardMedhurst. Rockfin.com/RichardMedhurst. This is where I started. And in addition to that, my TV show is going to continue. Press TV is going to continue. You cannot stop the resistance. Dream on. So now the domain is presstv.ir, not .com, presstv.ir. And like I said, I got the latest broadcasts right now on the Iranian elections. If you want to know what's actually happening, you come watch this. You don't watch anything else that doesn't actually, have any informed opinions from Iranians. So Professor Marendi was awesome. I'll have the full interview soon. That's presstv.ir. And there you go, man. There's also the Substack. There's so many. This is why I keep telling you we should never, put all our eggs in one basket. We shouldn't centralize on YouTube or something, because this is what they do, right? This is like another level of just I got my channel demonetized, which happened again because I was talking about Israel, right? They did that. You remember in July 2020. No, now they just went and took the website. So, it's okay though. Like I said, the resistance is going to continue. We're going to keep doing our work, and you can find the show on presstv.ir and all the other stuff, youtube.com/RichardMedhurst. Everything is here. So don't worry. We're not stopping. I'm going to go even harder now. So there we go. I mean, I'm honestly, I'm really angry at this bullshit. I'm angry, but I laugh because it exposes them. It exposes them as weak and fragile. They're so weak and fragile. They're so pathetic. This is the empire. Look at them, man. Like, just fucking look at their Gestapo bullshit. Honestly, look at this Gestapo bullshit. They come here and just slap a fucking label on. We've seized your domain. You motherfucking tyrants. You have the nerve to call other countries backwards. You have the nerve. It's so funny. I love this. It's so funny, honestly. So, I know people in the comments or on Twitter have been saying they can still access presstv.com. You need to clear your cache and your browser history and your cookies. Then you will see it doesn't work because your browser is still loading the cache. That's why. And I'm 100% sure because Press TV told me. I just showed you all these articles. It's gone. The U.S. National security officials have confirmed it. This is real. Because I myself, I was like, dude, no, they didn't do this shit. They didn't go this far. No, they went this far, right? And again, you remember all these people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't vote for Trump because he's fascism." What did I tell you? I fucking told you that Biden would be just as bad, if not worse. I told you this, and you had all these like smartasses who don't listen, who think they know better, right? Who are so brainwashed they think that, oh no, we're gonna have like change or something. Oh, you losers, you fucking embarrassing clowns. You don't know your ass from your elbow. You don't know your ass from your elbow. So anyway, man. I take this as a badge of honor. I think it's just proof that we're doing a good job. If the U.S. government and the British governments take you off the air, you're doing something right. End of story. You're doing something right. Okay, you're doing something right. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'll leave it there. Anyway. So you guys have been very generous. You've sent in a lot of tips and donations. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm gonna read them to you. Okay, I'm gonna read your questions. Just give me a second. It's loading. Okay. So I've been very much looking forward to reading them. Thank you for that. 1 second. And by the way, if you want to send in on PayPal or something, there's also, you can do that over here with this QR code, right? So you just scan it. There's PayPal, CashApp, Venmo, whatever. You got any questions, shoot, and I'll try to answer them as fast as I can. So on YouTube, you guys have been very generous and sent a few super chats. So over here, we got one from Dante. Dante says, God bless Iran and Syria. Amen. Amen. We got one from Catherine. She says, just canceled my cable, so I'm spreading the savings around. That's good. That's good. I love that. I appreciate it very much. Jackson says, U.S. has a long history of seizing and nationalizing companies that don't follow their imperialist orders. Keep up the great work. Oh, you know it, man. You know it. I mean, just speaking of Iran, right? Because you bring up a great point. Just speaking of this colonial, this disgusting gangster behavior, look at 1953. What happened in 1953 in Iran? There was a coup, right? And it's very funny because the CIA admits they did it, but MI6 won't admit it. So the MI6 is the British equivalent. They did it together, right? It was they got rid of Mossadegh. Mossadegh was the democratically elected prime minister of Iran, and he wanted to nationalize the oil. And if you say the word nationalize in the global south, you will have Marines on your doorstep tomorrow morning, right? So that's how it works, as many countries can attest to. You know, Guatemala, the year after, United Fruit Company. And what's interesting is that, you know, in the case of Iran, Iran at the time had the biggest oil field in the world, right? Oil refinery, I should say. Abadan. It's at Abadan. And this was, of course, built by the British. And it's so funny because, this is during the era of decolonization, so they say. We still have colonization. And so the British, they had to leave. And they were very angry about this, right? All right? It's unacceptable, boy. Can't have such nonsense. Right? Because they were angry. They had built this refinery and they didn't want to leave it behind. Right? Because the poor colonizers, they invested, right? They always talk as if they put in more than they got, when it's actually the complete reverse, right? It's the complete opposite. They're stealing and exploiting. So he wanted to nationalize this, Mossadegh, right? And not just that, just all of Iran's oil, because the British had monopolized the biggest oil refinery in the world at Abadan. They had called this the Anglo-Persian Oil Company. Then they changed it to the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. And today, you may know it as British Petroleum, BP. So you may go to a gas station and see, BP. Yes, it's a colonizer company, right? That's what it is. So they were stealing Iran's oil, exploiting Iran like you would not believe. They made some shitty deal also at one point where they were just robbing them blind. It's just typical colonizer stuff. And once he said that, Mossadegh, as you know, they came in, they couped him, and you know how they talk about like disinformation and interfering with the media? They were doing that as well. So they had CIA agents who were writing up stuff in the Iranian press to discredit him, to smear him, etc., etc. The whole works. And the next year, they did the same thing with Guatemala, right? So you had this United Fruit Company, which is now known as Chiquita Bananas. Again, it's so funny when you see all these like colonial multinationals that are still around, like as if nothing happened, as if they didn't do anything. Like BMW, they were using slave labor during the Holocaust, and now the BMW family is the richest family in Germany, and they were using slave labor during the Holocaust. That's what they did, and they're still. They still have all these riches, like nothing happened, like they didn't do anything, like they committed no crimes. It's insane, right? So you have all these companies that are still around today, all these families that got rich off of slavery, off of stealing, off of, genocide. And it's just like, it's allowed. Like, no one says anything. It's mind-boggling. And so, again, the incoming leadership in Guatemala wanted to nationalize the fruit, and all the fields, and that was not going to be accepted by the Americans. So they went in and did a coup, right? This is always the case. They want to steal resources. They want to steal, natural resources, and also make sure that they can put their companies in. So this is not just about putting a military there. It's economic. It's they're intertwined. They're one and the same. Capitalism and colonization. They go hand in hand as usual. So, it's disgusting. There's a long history of this. And then they have the nerve to come in and talk about election interference. I mean, they've been interfering in the whole world for decades, for centuries. The European colonial powers, the Americans. So, this is why it's important to understand history, because then you immediately know who's the hypocrite. You immediately know who the real oppressor is, who the real victim is, and what the situation is. So there you go. Over here, we have a super chat from Holly. Holly says, #free press, #free TV, #free Assange. Amen. It's, again, like I was saying before, it's crazy. You want to talk about totalitarianism and about authoritarianism. Like, the U.S. doesn't even contain that. It goes and tries to extraterritorialize its bullshit and fascism on everyone else. Even its own allies, right? Even Germany. Like, it'll spy on Angela Merkel, and it will, force the Germans not to pursue charges against CIA agents after they tortured and kidnapped and tortured a German citizen, right? They'll go and they'll turn the English courts into kangaroo courts and run them so that they can do what they're doing to Assange. And then, of course, it gets worse when it comes to other countries. It's just, there's no respect. We got a super chat over here from Jonathan. Says, "Keep fighting the good fight, Richard." Thank you, Jonathan. You know I will, and I'm able to do that, and I'm grateful that I can do that. Thanks to you guys and your support. I will. Nishama says, "For your info, folks, crypto and .crypto and .zil, that's ZIL or ZIL, websites cannot be seized. Folks can also send money directly to your domain, and once you purchase it, you own it for life, unless you choose to resell it like real estate." Oh, I didn't know that. So that's interesting. Because while I was looking into this malarkey that they've done now with Press TV, as we said, they have claimed jurisdiction over all .com websites. And this won't come to you as a surprise, I'm sure, but .com originally started out as a project under the Department of Defense. Yeah. So they gave that to a company called, I think, VeriSign. So now VeriSign runs all of the .com domain business, right? So they're in charge of that. But yeah, it doesn't matter, right? So they're just going to come and prosecute or seize or do whatever they want, even if you're not on the other side of the planet, because they're imperialist bastards. So Arcola says, "Thank you for the work you're doing. Understanding foreign policy is very important. Thank you. I always learn something new from your show." I'm very grateful. That is very sweet, and I'm. It's always a pleasure for me when I hear comments like that people learned something new or found it informative. That's the best comment that one can receive. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Igit or legit, I'm not sure. I can't read that. It says, "I am at a loss for words. Incredible." Same. I mean, I try not to be at a loss for words because I speak for a living. I can't really be at a loss for words, but I definitely was when it first, when it first came through that, oh, they've seized Press TV. I didn't believe it, and Press TV was telling me this. They told me this. I was like, what? I was like, this has got to be like a temporary thing, like when they take down the Facebook page or the no. They like. Really, it does leave you at a loss for words. M10 Berserk says, "Have you seen the Patriot Act on Netflix? They nuked that show too last year because the host, Hassan, was spitting too much facts. Please do watch it if you haven't." I know what you're talking about, but I have not actually watched it. So I'm very grateful for the recommendation, and I will do. So I think I also heard that they nuked it because of the reasons you mentioned, that it was a bit too raw for them. I will check it out, and thank you for reminding me to do that, because I actually only learned of it once people were saying, oh, it's been taken down. So thank you for that, and thanks, of course, for your support. I'm just going to refresh the page real quick. So, yeah, we got a super chat over here from Matt. Says they lose the Yippin, Chihuahuas, or Infowar. What? I'm not sure I understood, but it sounds funny, so I appreciate it. Rip Sir Win says, when the imperialists take down a progressive outlet, we must redouble our funding to the rest of them. Their attacks only make us stronger. Yes, I mean, dude, even listen. Even if this had not happened to me, I would be outraged. You know it. You know I would be. I would be equally outraged. But, you know, it is just, and it's not even about me. I'm not the only person who works there. Even the editors, the graphics designers, every single person, all the other journalists, the broadcasters, the managers, they've put in so much work. And to have that taken down, I mean, just think, like, all the links that I've posted now, ever, linking to episodes, they're dead. They don't work anymore because they were presstv.com/something, and now it's gone, right? Of course, thank God, alhamdulillah, you can still access this stuff on presstv.ir. That's good, but I'm not tolerating this nonsense. This is piracy. This is this is colonialism. These people think that they can come in and just like confiscate and steal and manipulate as they please, even outside their own borders, right? Like that, it's it's not just in real life stealing the oil, stealing the tankers, putting sanctions. No, even virtually. So they want to make sure that you can't find out about the original crimes. It's a stack of atrocities, right? Are we surprised though? No, it's disgusting, but we're not really surprised. Like I said, they do this to anyone who poses a threat. We got a super chat over here from Asim says, free Assange. Richard, you are becoming my favorite journalist. Thank you very much. That's a huge compliment, and I'm very grateful. And as always, of course, free Assange. We're waiting for the case to continue. Unfortunately, as we all knew beforehand, the appeals process is very grueling and very slow. And I think it's astonishing that any journalist should be kept in any jail. But the fact that they've put him in a maximum security jail and they've deprived him of seeing his family and getting adequate medical treatment, it's compounded so many things that is really it's outrageous. It's just outrageous. And so it was already bad enough, but now with the appeals process, it's just extended and prolonged. And I really want people to understand this, because you can see now on multiple fronts how there's no difference between Trump and Biden. You can see how this is a U.S. empire thing. This is, something to do with U.S. hegemony. It is something you will see with all of them. They are all this tyrannical, and it extends to, outside their borders, of course, right? That's how they do. They will go and chase you in England. They will go and take your website in Iran or Iraq or Lebanon. This is what they do. So it's criminal. It's really organized crime on an international level. And that's really what people need to understand. Jordan says, quote, we lie, we cheat, we steal. Yes. The Zionist entity. So, I mean, I think, to be specific, that's a quote by Mike Pompeo. But yes, the two go hand in hand. He is a great friend of Netanyahu's, although Netanyahu's gone and we have a new atrocity now. We covered him, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we covered him. I'm I'm a bit tired. I think in the last 72 hours, I was on Black Agenda Report with Glenn Ford. That was amazing. That was really a great talk. He's so cool. It's always an honor and pleasure for me to go on Black Agenda Report. So please go listen to the interview. I was also interviewing Professor Marandi, Dr. Naim. So I've done like 3 interviews. I did 2 episodes, 2 broadcasts for Press TV. I think we did a live stream. I can't remember anymore. So I'm quite exhausted, but we're still here. We're still fighting. We're still going on. And as Rip Sir Win says, to be attacked by the enemy is a good thing. That's a quote by Mao. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this just proves that we're right, honestly. Why would they take down the website if we're not, a journalistic, ideological, informational threat? We're telling the truth. They don't want people to know the truth. So that's why they do this. That's why they do that. Right. Mark is no hero says, Richie, always dropping the truth. The West will always try to suppress what exposes them. But the righteous always find a way. Hashtag free Munya Abu Jamal. Hashtag Assange. Man, I mean, that's what we've been saying, right? This is what they do all the time. They've been doing this for decades, and now they do this on the internet as well. And it's really, I think it was already a red line when they did it on social media with these labels or deleting Facebook pages, but now it's going beyond that. They're not taking down like a Facebook page or something, which again is bad enough. No. They're seizing an entire domain. I mean, how can people stay silent about this? And many will. Many will. I assure you, many will. And they will also try to excuse it, right? Nan Bread says control of the narrative. Yeah, that sums it up. They want control of the narrative because, when I talk about Palestine and what's happening there, I've done, I don't even know how many episodes I've done, a lot. I don't have to sugarcoat and lie and deceive and say that, it's a level playing field and it's just like these people who are fighting for some reason. No. I talk about it the way it is, the truth. I say it's an occupation. I can do that. And they can't allow that, right? They want narrative control, and they really take this seriously, as you can see. So that's good. That's good because we take this seriously too. And, in the Global South is fighting against oppression, is fighting against colonialism, is fighting against Western hegemony. We take this more seriously than they do. That's what they don't understand. Because for the Global South, this is existential. This is about survival. You cannot beat survival instinct. This is why in the long run, Palestinians will get their land back. This is why in the long run, colonialism will be defeated, because the people who are oppressed, for them, it is existential. It's about survival. You cannot defeat that. There's nothing stronger than that, right? Except God. So you can't defeat that. And one of the ways they try to subvert it is they try to propagandize and lie and obfuscate. But the truth comes out eventually. The truth comes out eventually, and the annals of history will show clearly what happened. And I hope people now wake up now and not in the future, too late in the future, right? But you guys are extremely generous. I'm so grateful for all of your donations and your support. Really, it's really humbling. We have we got like 600 people watching right now. That is fucking awesome. So most of you have hit the like button. I'm not going to complain. Good job. You've hit the like button. That's good with me, man. We got a super chat over here. This is from, one second. This is from Zach. Thank you, Zach. It says, this should be a wake-up call for every country in the world to build their own infrastructure, finance, commerce, internet, etc., instead of relying on the USA because they will use it against you. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And I mean, the thing is, Press TV already had like multiple mirror sites because they know this shit is going to happen, right? And it's just, this is why they try to steal resources, because when you steal the resources of a country, they cannot do what you just described. How can you build infrastructure when someone else is stealing your food or your oil or your water or your precious minerals and stones and material? You can't do anything. So that's how they cripple countries, right? That's how they underdevelop them and make sure that they can never stand on their own 2 feet in any domain, whether we're talking about the media, whether we're talking about public health infrastructure. It doesn't matter, as you just described. So it's the effect is twofold. It's that one, it's theft and it's oppression, and then of course on top it has a long-term effect of not being able to be independent. That's why they hate countries that are independent, right? That's why they don't like when you have independent news outlets that are based outside the West. That's why they don't like countries exercising their sovereignty. The reason they hate Syria, they hate Venezuela, they hate Iran is because these countries are actually sovereign, right? You need to think about that for a second. Germany, the United Kingdom, France, they're not really sovereign. They if the U.S. says jump, they say how high, and when Israel says jump, they all say how high, right? So they're not really sovereign. the countries that are on the list of axis of evil, those are countries that are sovereign, right? You may not like them. I don't care if you don't like them. It's none of your business. But they're sovereign. They don't do what the West tells them. They don't take orders from Washington, D.C. or from Whitehall or Paris. Okay? That's why they're on the list of regime change. That's why they're targeted. And sovereignty, independence is everything. This is everything. It's everything. Whether it's political or, economic, journalistic, it's everything. So that's why they try to cripple countries. We got a few tips over here that I'm going to try and pull up on the phone because I think it'll be easier to read them. So thank you very much for everyone who donated on PayPal and Venmo and Cash App. I could read them too. You can also send a question or a note. This one over here. This is from... 1 second. It's only... Veronique sent me a lovely super chat. It says, France, as usual, has nothing to say about this gangster bullshit from the United States. I translated everything I could. I wish I still had my former 4,100 followers account to reach more people, but I did what I could. The only media reporting on this is the anti-imperialist tiny outlet, Le Grand Soir, which also relays everything about Assange. That's good. Zero coverage otherwise. Shameful. Forgive me for the tiny donation. I'm genuinely broke and dealing with hell stuff at the same time. I'll support you more whenever I can. Keep fighting, Richie. Hey, Véro, moi je suis vraiment... T'inquiète pas, hein. Franchement, t'inquiète pas. Déjà, ça fait plaisir de voir ton message et d'avoir ton soutien. J'ai vu que tu as traduit les tweets. Mais ils t'ont effacé le compte ou quoi? I'm just telling Véro that it's a pleasure to hear from her. And if they deleted her account because, again... censorship, right? It's just messed up. And I think you just echoed what I said before about France and Germany. So, they just do what the US tells them, unfortunately. I know in France it's like a tiny bit better. In Germany and the UK, it's a tiny bit better. But it's still, it's still a bit, c'est pas trop top, hein. C'est pas trop top. C'est quand même un peu la merde. Mais c'est bien, hein, le grand soir. Je vais les mater. Merci beaucoup pour ce message. Véro, vraiment, tu m'as fait plaisir avec ça. We got a tip over here from... It's loading. I don't know what's happening. It's loading. So, okay. This is from... Reginald says, disabled combat vet on VA disability, so my income is very low. I'll send what I can for proper journalism. Cheers. Hey, look, I want to say to you and also to Véro, like, don't be, like, I'm grateful for everything and I'm grateful for your support. Seriously, don't even trip. I'm very grateful. You guys are the best. Seriously, I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful that you support the show, and it's really paramount. So I'm very grateful. I get embarrassed. I blush. I don't know what to say. So thank you. Seriously. Over here, we got another one from Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth. Says, wear red on August 5th for all Kashmiris. They are trying to keep that hidden. Also across social media, hashtag red for Kashmir. Yes, so I mean the situation in Kashmir, yes, I mean that's barely covered, right? I think... the main reason that I lived in Pakistan, in Islamabad, for I think it was 4 years. My parents, they were working in the peacekeeping mission that is there. I think what's the acronym? All these peacekeeping missions that like super long acronyms. The one in Lebanon is UNIFIL. Then you have UNDOF in Syria. Then UNIVEM in Namibia. No, that's in Angola. Hold on. You see, I'm getting them mixed up. UNRWA is in Palestine. That's the refugee agency. UNMOGIP is another one. I can't remember the one in Kashmir. But in any case, it's definitely completely under reported. And by the way, just as a side note, thank you to everyone who's watching on Rockfin. We got 50 people watching on Rockfin, which is wonderful. I think right now is as good a time as any to talk about alternative outlets because, as you can see, no one is safe from the tentacles, from the reach of Uncle Sam. So right now we're live on YouTube, right? So youtube.com/RichardMedhurst. However, I'm also on Rockfin, which is like YouTube, but without any censorship bullshit. So that's rokfin.com/RichardMedhurst. Okay, and you guys are watching over there and sending tips. I'm very grateful. And I also have a Substack. So that's richardmedhurst.substack.com. I'm trying to think of all the ways that we can, diversify, because we don't want to just stay on YouTube and have like one single point of failure, because, that wouldn't be wise. And again, if you want to follow my work on television, presstv.ir. And I also publish, I recently was very blessed and lucky to be offered the opportunity to write and make videos for RT, right? So, yeah, you can just Google Richard Medhurst RT. You'll find stuff there, right? I just started recently, so I've done a few articles about the UK, Palestine, and yeah, so lots of places. But, we should definitely build up the mailing list. So all these links are below. I don't want to bore you, but you look what they did, man. If a TV network is not safe, what is, honestly. So I'm dropping all the links below, and I thank you for your support. And just signing up with the email list is good enough, honestly. Matt has sent a super chat. Thank you, Matt. Says, real war has big dogs. Cyber and info warfare are yipping chihuahuas by comparison. Keep biting at the heels of empire. Well, I will keep doing my thing in any case. And, they take it seriously enough. So there was no question in my mind that we did too. There was no question that we take it seriously as well. And there you go. Claudia is just reminding me to check PayPal. I am. I'm just trying to see if I missed anything. So, we got something on Venmo. Thank you very much. This is from Marissa. She sent it 40 minutes ago, so I'm sorry this is taking so long. I did not see it. Marissa says, this makes me so mad. Shit. That makes two of us. I mean, well, a bit more, I'd say. But yeah, no, seriously, I'm gonna be here ranting all night, like at this rate, because it hasn't even like sunk in fully that this has happened. This is infuriating. It's preposterous. We got also a message from Aiden. Aiden says, yeah, Ryan Dawson from AntsReport.com. He is the most banned anti-imperialist from the United States. He will shock your audience with his reports on Palestine. Well, anti-imperialism in the United States is kind of like an oxymoron, but again, not surprised, right? If you talk about Palestine, if you talk about imperialism, they give you the boot. I dare say that it's the worst place to do that, right? I mean, if you look at the UK, it's a close second. But I'm very grateful for the chat, for the Venmo, Aiden, and we also got one from Ramanan. Says, thanks for all you do, much obliged. I hope I said your name correctly. Apologies, but I'm grateful to you. Thank you for supporting the show. It's sorry, there's a blank message here. Someone sent something on PayPal. It has no name, no message, and I don't know who you are. Thank you, anonymous person. So I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep up with all of the messages here. I want to make sure I read everyone's message. I don't want to leave anyone behind, leave anyone out. So I'm just double checking everywhere, right? So again, I don't know if there's anything on Rockfin. I'm gonna check there, but yeah, we got a couple on Rockfin. You see, it wasn't loading for me, so I'm very sorry. I'm gonna read them to you now. Okay, we got one over here. This one is from Andrea. It says, apologies from a U.S. citizen. Hey, look, man, I can separate the two. Don't worry. I know it's not your fault. I understand. It's no hard feelings. This is a problem. Like most governments in the world, they don't actually. Yeah, nothing to do with their citizens, especially in the U.S., especially in the U.K. It's not even. It's a whole other ruling class, man. It's a whole other class in of itself. This establishment. It's a big club, and we ain't in it. That's what it is. So I don't blame anyone. It's not your fault. Don't worry about that. Can I just say one thing that I thought of earlier? I found it kind of funny how. Apparently banning my show and banning Press TV and all of my colleagues' work was more pressing than giving you healthcare. So, Wow. I guess good job on everyone who said you had to vote for Biden or something. Wow, that's turned out really well. Lennon says the U.S. is the larger exporter of terrorism in the world and the worst war criminals. Embarrassing, shameful. I got nothing more to add. Emblemed Faith says after Buhari bans Twitter, I said good Twitter is CIA backed and censor. Oh, I said good because the Twitter is CIA backed and censors real news. But shit lives called Nigeria my second home authoritarian. Buhari's is authoritarian and a shit leader, but that is not theirs to say. But if America continues to oppress real news, then get those platforms out my country until they can be fair. Yeah, I feel you. There are people who are saying, like, you know, if Iran is having its networks taken down, then they should ban the American stuff in return. Now, look, I'm not in favor of anyone being banned. I don't think that's the solution. But I get what you're saying, because it's real arrogance, right? Like, they think that they can oppress and attack others and shit on everyone, and no one is going to, like, respond. And that's unacceptable. But the response to this is to keep doing the work. That's the only proper response, and to do it harder. And so I will do that, right? And I'm sure all my colleagues have the same resolve. I'm sure Press TV has the same resolve and same drive. And anyone is doing this kind of journalism. So you know, it's a long-term effort. Jill says grateful for your truth telling, grateful for you telling the truth. Richard, I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for your kind words. Thank you for watching on Rockfin too. Brian has also sent a tip. Thank you, Brian. And we also got one from Bill Nye, the highest guy. It says, I just came over from Graham Elwood's stream. I'm glad Rockfin allows us to rewind the live stream. Keep doing great work, Richard. Thank you, Bill. Graham is awesome. I need to have him on very soon. And yeah, I mean, I'm just glad I can put whatever title I want on Rockfin, never mind rewinding. That's the biggest perk for me. But yes, your point is well taken. Definitely, your point is well taken. And I'm very grateful for your support. So, all right, one more time. I'm just gonna refresh over here to make sure I got everybody. Wow, you guys are really, really kind. Lucy has sent a tip. She says, keep up the fantastic work, Richard. Thank you, Lucy. Rob says, you're the best around, Richard. Rob, you know you're the best around. No, seriously, thank you. That's really kind of you. Candy Dragon says, love your videos. Keep up the good work. Look how nice you guys are. Look how nice you get. You're making me blush on the air. This is not allowed, man. Come on. So I'm very grateful. Seriously, I'm humbled. Zachary says, I've never done a super chat. Fuck NATO. Well, if you're going to do a super chat, I think that's an appropriate one. That's an appropriate one. I feel you, man. And Marit says, I think the blank one was from me. I forgot the name, and I've recently subbed on Patreon. Much love from the Netherlands. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I mean, that's 3 donations on 3 different places. You're the best. Seriously, thank you so much. And speaking of Patreon, I haven't plugged the Patreon, but if you guys want to support the show monthly, please, by all means, go ahead. See, that was a smooth transition. Thank you, Merritt. So it's patreon.com/RichardMedhurst. I changed the URL, so it's my name now, right? Patreon.com/RichardMedhurst. And you will find it there. So there you go. All right, so if you'll just excuse me a second, I need to drink something, man. I'm so thirsty, really thirsty. Anything. 1 second. All right, we are back. We're live. We're live at 5. Oh, man. You know what? I think we're just going to do a chill evening over here. Because, chill. Yeah, I just lost my shit. Who wouldn't lose their shit after you get your fucking TV show and your network deleted? You know, man, people have no clue how much work we put in. They really don't. I mean, YouTube is already a lot of work. Television, man, there's multiple people involved, right? I mean, over here, it's a one-man show. on television, you got so many people involved in the process, doing graphics, doing the scheduling. It's really, people put their blood, sweat, and tears into that. And these imperialist bastards, they just come and delete it because they don't like what we're saying. Yeah, well, we don't like what you're doing. That's why we're saying it. That's why we're telling the truth. That's it. And they can't stand that. It's, I'm glad it's still up somewhere, but I don't tolerate this. And, it's going to be really funny watching those who stay silent because they're afraid of defending Press TV, because they're so brainwashed that they think that anything... Again, I'm talking about people on the so-called left, right? They think that only America and only the West has good journalism and independent journalism and, adversarial journalism. Just, it's really, good job with the brainwashing. Good job. You believe that. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you. Again, I'm going to wear this as a badge of honor. If the U.S. Takes the time to take us down, that means we're doing something correct. So there you go. Long live the resistance. Now, I'm just going to be making sure I got all of your tips over here. And again, because I don't want to miss anybody, we got one from someone, because it's refreshing. This is from Large Marge. Large Marge says... So yeah, she's referring to the law that we looked at. This title, what was it? U.S. Code, paragraph 1701, says is unusual and extraordinary threat declaration of national emergency, exercise of president authorities. What the fuck? Yeah, that's it. That's what I was saying. That's why I was laughing, because it's like we're such a pressing issue that they have to come and take us down immediately. It's kind of funny, man. It really is funny. It really is funny. I think that's a badge of honor. Thank you very much. Very much. So anyway, thank you, Emily. Emily sent a tip on CashApp. She says, I appreciate your work. Thank you, Emily. You're very kind. Tina on PayPal says, thank you for all you do, from Tina and Polly. Thank you, Tina and Paul. You guys are awesome. And we got one over here also from okay, I got you. I'm not going to say the name. They didn't want me to say the name. I'm totally fine with that. I got you, and I'm very grateful. You might want to mention... Yeah, so Blinken is going around saying he supports free journalism. Blinken, the Secretary of State, and he supports free journalism and independent journalism while he's doing this. Stay strong, brother. Yeah, Blinken says a lot of shit. Blinken says a lot of shit, indeed. He is... I think Margaret Kimberly, she called him Skinny Pompeo. Yeah, that's what he is. He's Skinny Pompeo. These people are the scum of the earth as far as I'm concerned. These so-called diplomats, there's nothing diplomatic about them. They're just the spokespersons for a criminal organization. That's what they are. And, they come around and act like they have free press, and Dominic Raab in the UK, he's the foreign secretary. He'll do the exact same thing as Blinken. Oh yeah, we care about freedom of press. And meanwhile, Assange is like in jail, and they're trying to pass these laws to shit on activists, the spy cops, the anti-protest. So yeah, it's a joke. And this is why once you educate people and you tell them the history, you tell them what's happening, it's so easy to see through it. And that's why they don't want people knowing what's there actually. That's why. So we my brain is like on 5 different screens at the same moment. Revolutionary Drew, thank you for your tip. Revolutionary Drew says the internet is supposed to be open and free, like democracy. Smiley face. Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's not though, is it? It's not. It's far from that. I mean, what can I say, man? Is there anything that they haven't done? Like honestly, is there anything they have not done? Is there anything they haven't done? Sanctions, war, assassination, bombing, killing, murder. Is there anything they haven't done? I'm not surprised. I'm disgusted, but I'm not surprised. So, all right. Once more, By the way, I don't think anyone signed up on Patreon today, so we haven't had a crab dance, unfortunately. But I know someone will. Someone will come through, and we'll have a lovely crab dance. So if you want to support the show, you can do that on patreon.com/RichardMedhurst. All of the links are in the chat. You can do that for as little as $2 a month, $3.50, $5, whatever you like, man. You can put in any figure you like. Don't worry. So anything is fine with me, and I'm very grateful. And you guys are awesome, so thank you for that. And yeah, also there's the PayPal and Venmo and CashApp stuff. I'm just gonna put it up on the screen. I don't want to bore you too much. I'm just putting this up because this is what we do during the live streams. So there you go. We gotta pay the bills. We gotta keep the independent journalism. We gotta keep the anti-imperialist machine going. So that's dependent on you greasing the gears. So thank you very much for that. I'm very grateful. You guys are awesome, and you've been very kind and very generous. And thank you for all your support. And I mean, not just here, but everywhere. Just your kind words, and for giving a shit, if we can say it bluntly. Thank you. Because a lot of people don't and won't, because they think that this is okay, right? And this is what you see with these liberals, right? And the closet liberals, the neoliberals, the fake, whatever you want to call it, the boutique left. They're just imperialists who want healthcare. So they'll talk about, I'm against censorship, and I think this bad. But when this happens, when censorship from their own fucking government happens to foreign outlets, they won't say a fucking word. You know why? Because they're scared. Mark my words, okay? Mark my words. You will have, whether it's politicians or commentators, you will have people who claim they're against censorship. Oh, I'm all about the First Amendment, all this nonsense. And then when Press TV gets banned, they won't say a word because they're okay with censorship when it happens outside their country, even when their own government is doing it, right? So, they'll get mad if it happens to their YouTube or something. But when it happens to foreign outlets, they won't say a word because they're too scared, because they're brainwashed. They've been brainwashed into thinking that any outlet that is Iranian or Syrian or anything that is from the global south, from the Middle East, that is part of the axis of resistance. Oh, it's bad. Like there's a stigma attached, and they're pussies. They're cowards. So they don't actually care about what they say they care about. They don't give a shit. It's just more about they got theirs, and that's it. They just care about their own interests. They like to say these things, but they don't actually believe in them. And that's it. Right? You have a lot of these people. And unfortunately, well, that's not good. But fortunately, our efforts don't depend on that. I really don't give a shit, because these people, we're not operating on the same plane. We're not operating on the same plane. You have these people who are stuck in some paradigm with internal bickering in U.S. politics. I don't know. It's much bigger than that. This goes much deeper than that. You have countries in 2021 that have been resisting colonialism and imperialism for centuries. They're not done. They're still under attack, like Syria, like Iran, like Venezuela. These countries have had enough, and there are very few people on their side. There are very few people who care, who understand, who even care to go and understand. And it's much bigger than that. Right? It's much bigger than some Democrat Party crap. It's much bigger than that. So I'm going to take this as, just a sign we're doing something right. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, you guys have been very kind. You've been very generous. And I think Emblemed Fate sent a tip saying this is a product of the Russiagate bullshit. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, they're going to cite terrorism. They're going to cite, interference. They were, even Joe Biden, when he was running for president, what did he say? He said, even before he got elected in the debates with Trump, he said, I'm going to go after Iran and China and Russia for interfering in the elections. You remember they had this thing in the story in the media that Iran was sending emails like trying to interfere in the elections, like just completely made up bullshit. Like it's not even believable. It's just like so childish, right? It's like, are you even trying? So, they just make these things up to justify their tyranny. They just make this up. What am I supposed to say? Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. And Thank you, Anna, for your tips. Says truth keeps the State Department up at night. Keep it up. You know I will. You know I will. So with that said, thank you guys for all your support. Again, I need some rest, and we'll be back very soon. Thank you for supporting the show on Patreon, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, whatever, you name it, right? Bitcoin, carrier pigeon, that's not a thing. But I'm very grateful for your kind words also. This is shitty what they did, but, you know, we'll keep going. So anyway, all the links will be below. The segments will be up soon. Thank you for tuning in. I'm very, very grateful to have you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.